Now, art and technology combine in an extraordinary new installation, The Lake, an underwater artwork. The award-winning artist Julie Freeman has created her work at the fishery run by her mother Anne at Tingwith in Bedfordshire, funded by the National Endowment for Technology and the Arts. By tagging fish electronically in order to track their random natural movements, she's been able to compose a combination of soundscapes and visual patterns which change all the time. Judy Herman went to Tingwith to meet Anne and Julie.
We're just now standing outside the silo, which is about a 9-metre tall metal cylinder, and I've had it custom made with a little door, and the cylinder overlooks the lake where the fish are tagged. This walkway takes you into the cylinder, which is about a 3-metre diameter round space. And above us, suspended at about 3 metres, is a membrane which has got the projection of the fish animation on it.
So the huge circle represents the lake, is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty much a sort of direct representation of the lake. And what we're seeing is 16 representations of the tagged fish. They're all different colours. The colours are all from photographs of the fish. So the rudd, they have very red fins, they're very red, the tench are green and brown. And then we've got mirror carp, which are blues and purples. And finally, the crucian carps, which are kind of orangey, purpley colours. There's a core colour, which is the central one, which is the same for each species. And then they have 2 additional colours, which I call their auras, and they're the ones that indicate what sort of behaviour is happening. So the fastest fish, its aura is changing. The most popular fish, its aura gets really big as it inflates its ego.
There's these extraordinary sounds coming from them. It's quite mesmerising.
Each one of those little rectangles is linked to a fish that's been tagged bioacoustically in the lake. And as the fish move around, their representation on this screen moves around as well. And they play different sounds depending on what sort of behaviours they're exhibiting. What the work is doing is exposing the hidden world of the fish as they're swimming around underwater. And it's all done in real time, so every time you see a movement on this screen, it's actually happening in the lake below. It does change all the time, so, depending on what the weather's like or what time of day, you just get different patterns and different soundscapes coming up all the time.
Like you attributed the colours, you had to attribute the sounds to the fish that you thought they went with.
Yeah. The tench, for instance, they're bottom feeders, so I always imagine that they're scurrying around on the bottom of the lake, so I gave them crunchy noises. And the mirror carp, because they've got this metallic sort of armour, I gave them very metallic sounding noises. And then the crucian carp, they're very hardy, very strong, muscular fish, quite small but very strong, and so I gave them very percussive noises like bangs and thumps and sort of slightly aggressive stuff. So what you get is a combination of crunches and high-pitched peeps and whatever they're showing off. The inspiration for all the colours and the sounds all comes pretty much from the fishery. I used a hydrophone, which is an underwater microphone, to record insect noises and fish noises and the sound of the dog jumping in the lake, and then I recorded people walking over gravel, stuck the hydrophone down rabbit holes, all sorts of things to get a whole selection of sounds that represented the place, but sounds that you wouldn't normally hear as you were walking around, more little tiny sounds that I amplified, and that's the sort of stuff that we're hearing now. I mean, I feel really attached to the fish that I've tagged, and I do kind of give them these attributes. And for me, it looks like they're having a conversation, and they're all working with each other, and some of them like each other, and some of them don't. So,
You'll know individually which of those is which, then?
Yeah, pretty much, because they're all slightly different sizes, and because I was involved in the tagging procedure where we inserted the tags into them, so I saw all the fish before they went in, so I know which ones are which, pretty much.
Now we're actually down by the lake, so now we can see the reality of it all from the surface.
I'm Ann Freeman, I'm Julie's mother, and I run the fishery on a day-to-day basis, as I have done for the last 10 years. It's a coarse fishery, none of the fish are edible, and they just catch for the sport and return them to the water immediately. If you're looking at the lake and it's sort of flat calm and then you get a bit of a ripple where the water's catching it, that's the best place to fish, right on the edge there, because they're sort of like sitting under the ripple looking out. They'll be sort of near the surface but not sunbathing.
So that's the reality, we wouldn't see anything except the odd ripple.
That's right, absolutely, yes, absolutely.
The fascination of what is going on under the water has been with me probably since I was a little girl, you know, sitting on riverbanks and watching my dad fish and watching my brother fish. We were married very young, and Terry's always fished ever since day one. I was a classic fishing widow. He was fishing all the time. He was a very good fisherman, I have to say. He used to win a lot of matches. Fishing, it was a way of life in our family, and not just our small family, my dad's brothers and his uncles and his granddad. I'm lucky because it meant that I got to go out to the countryside, I got to see all different rivers and canals, and even though we were living in a town, I was still quite a sort of country girl, always sitting on the riverbank playing with maggots and, you know, getting my hands dirty.
My husband died semi-retired, actually. We were distributors of fishing tackle in the UK, had been for about 10 years or so, and we sold that company. And it was his dream, he wanted to own his own fishery, run his own fishery. So we bought this place, and I had actually said that I wasn't going to have anything to do with it, but he could get on with it. Then he died 3 months later, which was very sudden. He was quite young. Myself and the family, Julie and my son Ian, were left really having to run it.
I've always been interested in biology and science, just found it very easy naturally, and also maths. And then obviously my creative side has enabled me to exploit both of those things into a project like this. And I just find that every aspect of it fascinating, from digging the foundations to the tank, to coding the software, to recording the music, to generating the graphics.
Are you finding out useful information that can be used afterwards?
Yeah, I've been talking to some fishery consultants and other scientists, because there's no commercial value in what we're doing. The tracking that we're doing, it just hasn't been done before, so the data that is being collected is going to be unique. It's quite a valuable data source. So once the artwork is finished, I'm then going to be taking the data, and I've got someone who's interested in writing a sort of scientific paper based on what we've learned. So it's got that whole added science element to it, as well as being a piece of artwork.
You must be really proud.
I am, yes. It's times like this when I can see she has a lot of her father in her, especially the imagination. That's where she gets the imagination from.
The best thing for me is getting people to think about what's happening under the water. If people take away with them the fact that next time they see water, they suddenly start thinking about what the fish are doing and what's happening underneath. Not just water, even other things in nature that we don't normally see but we know are there. You know, if people think about things a little bit more, that would be a massive achievement for me. But also I think everyone has a different take on it. So people that are interested in technology, obviously they're quite amazed at the different types of technology I've used to create it, and they're interested in how it's all come together. And then people that are just interested in visual arts and experiential stuff just can come and enjoy it for what it is, you know, on a very simple level. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out, and the best bit is getting to talk to people and see people in the space and see how they react to it and get their feedback.
And Julie Freeman's installation, The Lake, and underwater artwork, can be seen until the 30th of October. Coming up in today's programme, the 7,000 women who die each year in Indonesia as a result of backstreet abortion.